And so if we do the work now in our marriages, in our own hearts, in our own stories, then we will, just like in fitness, if we do the reps now, we will have a healthier body. If we do the reps now, we will have a healthier marriage. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get sick or you're never going to have a struggle. It just means that you will generally have a healthier sense of well-being in your relationship, a sense of connectedness, a sense of knowing one another. Like I said, not just in the knowing of with your brain, but in the knowing of your heart, like that kind of sense. So, but I say it will still happen when we're 80 because the complexity of the human soul is so great. I will never be able to fully explore the vast continent that is my wife.
I wonder if we as husbands, because that's the only person we have somewhat control of, spent more time in stage one and got that PhD, truly became a student of curiosity and question. If we spent more time there, instead of just making a joke like we do in our sitcoms and whatnot, would stage 2 become way easier to operate in?
Yes.
And stage 3 less exist?
Yes. 100%. Now, they don't go away. Okay, they don't go away. But I'll come back to your word compassion. The more that we not only understand the differences between us, but come to share the stories that live inside of her and the stories that live inside of you, now we have more access in that second disagreement stage of, here's not only do I understand why, but that you are because I have a PhD in who you are. I understand your stories. It's not just this mental understanding, but I have compassion. It sinks down into like, I feel whenever you say these words or refer to these things, I know what stories are you're referring to. And now I can I can return to be with you in the midst of those stories. And we jettison out of the present into the past to be with that younger boy in you, that younger girl in her. And we get to spend our time there bringing not just understanding, but bringing kindness and compassion into that space, which then completely shifts the conversation away, like I said, from the issue you were talking about to the witness that all of us were designed to have. So it takes it even out of the conflict zone into a place of like, oh, like I see you. And what were we talking about again? I don't even remember what we were talking about.
So you made an interesting statement a minute ago. You said they won't go away. So in our pursuit of greatness, in our pursuit of total aligned marriages and whatever, are we seeking to not have those stage 3 and stage 4? Or are you saying those will continue to happen at 60 years old, 70 years old, 80 years old, or whatever, And the reason why I ask is because sometimes we jump to crazy, people say crazy stuff, right? Crazy conclusion. I guess we're not going to live together. Or this is not where we're at. But I'm just saying people jump to these crazy things because it's almost like you're expecting this shouldn't be happening, that the fight shouldn't.
Right.
But I guess my question is, if we can accept that there will be times that those things happen, we could give a different meaning to them. So that's my question is, should we expect there will be fights? And if that's the case at 40 years of marriage, 50 years of marriage, what's the meaning I could place on it now so that I can be in it in the right way?
Yes. So yes, I want to say it will still happen when we're 80 years old.
Okay.
And
Cool.
and so like, let's all take a deep breath of relief. Like it's still going to be happening.
Yeah.
And of course, our aim is that it will be happening less. And so if we do the work now in our marriages, in our own hearts, in our own stories, then we will, just like in fitness, if we do the reps now, we will have a healthier body. If we do the reps now, we will have a healthier marriage. It doesn't mean that you're never going to get sick or you're never going to have a struggle. It just means that you will generally have a healthier sense of well-being in your relationship, a sense of connectedness, a sense of knowing one another. Like I said, not just in the knowing of with your brain, but in the knowing of your heart, like that kind of sense. So, but I say it will still happen when we're 80 because the complexity of the human soul is so great. I will never be able to fully explore the vast continent that is my wife. If I see her as large as the US and I am on 2 feet, I will never be able to fully explore all of the topography of her life, all of who she is, all of who God wrote her to be. I will never be able to know every single word, which just then also gives me the sense of excitement that I have 40 more years to explore and see and come to know who this person is. I want to come back to something that you said about the oneness, where she completes you in some ways. I do believe that there's actually it is not a departure from yourself in your marriage. The blending of the two, where you lose you and she loses her, and now all of a sudden there is just the we. There is this, even in the Trinity, there is this concept of the compound unity. That there is Father, Son, and Spirit fully in relationship with each other and still uniquely distinct. And I'm holding my hands like this, on the podcast, you can't really see it necessarily, but I'm holding my palms to one another, in that I believe that it is, I am fully me and you are fully you, which allows us to then be in full relationship. If I lose myself into you or you into me, relationship can't happen anymore, right? It's not actual like connecting of two individuals. It's really important, I think, in marriage to not get enmeshed, to not be completely apart, but to be two individuals in connection.